Alright, today on Mackenzie's Makes, we're going to make a bracelet out of the silver metal bracelets that I got pre-cut off Amazon. Okay, we're going to switch our Cricut over so we can engrave instead of cut. So what we're going to do is we're going to need to switch the housings. You can just pop it right open and pull it right out. Usually when I pull this out too, I always look and see if there's any vinyl or debris on my blade, and there is very little. What you can see I do, which is kind of hard to do one-handed, but I take it and I just over and over again into a ball of foil. Some people say that that dulls the blade. I've never had a problem with my blade. This is the same blade I've used since I've got my Cricut. And I've noticed that when I do that, it actually makes the blade sharper of a cut. And you can actually see in the foil when you stab it or slice it over and over again that the cuts get better, not worse. If it was dulling the blade, it would get worse. Okay, so I found this cute little thing here to hold my housings in. I got it from the Dollar Tree. You guys might find out that I love buying items from the Dollar Tree, especially to craft with. So take that out of there. I saved that to protect it because it didn't have a cover like all of these here. All right, so back to loading the machine. Let's go ahead and you're going to stick it in there to where these line up, not the plastic, or the plastic's towards you, closest to you, and you just shut it. Make sure it's in there good to where you can shut it all the way. So what I'm doing is I'm sliding all of these to the right because I don't want it to put tracks on my bracelet. Before you remove the blue cover off the bracelet, make sure you take a good picture of it with a solid background so that you can clear it up in Design Space. So go in Design Space and open a new project, and we're going to insert the image. We're going to use the one with the solid white background and the blue cover on it still, and we're going to crop it so that way when we remove the background, we can focus on just the background that's close to it, not all around it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here and erase this that's close to it. That way I can have a more clear template to use. As you go, you'll figure out which works best for you on what images for cleaning up. Sometimes I still use the remove while I'm using the eraser. It's all just preference on how you want to get your image cleaned up. So once you're happy with how it looks, you're going to save your cut image. And once it loads, you're going to insert that into Design Space. Now, as you can see, I didn't fiddle with those little lines off to the side, nor did I fiddle with making it perfect because it's not going to be a cut image. I'm just using this as a template. I did go in and hide the contour of those little dots or cuts off to the side. However, it's really not going to make the difference since it's just the template. I'm just wanting to put that in there so that I can align it up to my bracelet when I goes to putting it on my mat and engraving in on it. Anyways, what I'm doing here is making my template the same size as my actual bracelet, which is 6 inches. And then I'm going to make the template as straight as possible. I changed the color to silver, but I'm not sure why because we're actually going to go and make that line type a draw. But when it goes to drawing, to making it, we're not going to insert our marker. We're just going to let the machine use it as a template, which I'll show you guys in the video if you continue to watch. So we're going to insert some text to engrave, and I want the handwriting kind so it's just the lines and not double lined. And if it turns out double lined, that's okay. I'm just picking one I really like. And I'm just going to put Mackenzie's Makes, then I'm going to size it to fit my bracelet. And once I have it where I want it on my bracelet and the, you know, size that I want it, I'm going to go under Edit and align it to the center and align to middle. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to change the line type to engrave. And make sure it's lined up exactly how we want it and then attach it. That way when we click make it, it'll have the template of the bracelet and the engraving together. Okay, so you can see once we click make it, it has our template of our bracelet and the engraving together. This makes it easier to align your template with your blanks to engrave or cut the correct way. Okay, so I taped my bracelet down. Now you do want to make sure that it's not where your design's going to be, because it won't engrave all the way if it's got to also engrave through the tape. So what we're going to do is we're going to load this into the machine. And as you can see, these will not run over my design because I moved them all over to the right side. I have my engraving tip in there, in the engraving housing. And I'm going to select my material. And once I select my material, my machine will give me the option to start engraving. So what it's actually going to do first is it's going to do an outline of the template, because I put draw. So you don't draw on your mat or anything, just don't load the marker. It's a very simple fix and a very easy way to make sure that your design or your cut or your engrave is going to align with your blank. Alright, now it's going to do the engraving because it already drew the bracelet. Alright, so as it's engraving, I'm going to speed up the video. It is very satisfying, however, to watch. At least to me it was. At first, you're like, what is this drawing? Is it messing up? But then it gets clear the more, you know, engraving it does. Alright, your machine will let you know when it's ready and you can click unload. And it's actually not that bad. It's not lined up as straight as I, you know, would want it to be. I should have placed my blank bracelet up and sat it on that line instead of, it looks like I moved it down a little bit. But anyways, you get the point of it. If it was going to be a project for somebody else, I would have redone it, obviously, and made it perfect. But it's just for me and a quick video to teach you guys how to engrave and some little tips and tricks. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for future videos on how to, and leave some comments on what you would like to see. Thanks.